name is Ivan, and today's video is brought to you by the last words that Kathleen Kennedy is gonna say at Lucasfilm. I'm so sorry! Anyways, so what I'm going to be doing today is giving you guys a little tutorial on how to make a flashback effect. So many of you probably have seen already the video that I did on Rey's actual mother. Yes, the movie revealed who Rey's mother was from the get-go, and we never saw it. We just thought it was an awkward exchange of looks, but it wasn't. It was very significant, and I discovered it. So if you haven't seen this video, let's go into Premiere and I'll show it to you. Boom, we're live. Alright, so for all of you that haven't seen the video, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Please don't go this way.
No, you're still holding on! Let go! Do you want to know the truth about your parents? Or have you always known?
Mama!
You know the truth. Say it.
I knew it. Look at that. That look is the look of a mother that is saying, please do not fall for emo little bitches. So what I'm going to show you is how to make this effect. That little effect. You saw it? Boom. So pretty much I'm going to block this once. It's super easy. What you need to do first, once you have your clip right here, as you can see, we have Rey, then it goes into her mother. What you want to do is you can just right click and say apply default transition, and it's going to give you a cross dissolve, which is this dissolve right there. Now what you want is to eliminate the fade that is going to create on the audio. Make sure that it's a cross dissolve, and that tends to be the default transition. So and now I decided to make it shorter just because it would help. It's faster, just, but you can make it definitely longer. It's up to you however you want to play with it. Now I'm going to leave it just as it is. Then the first thing that you need to do is to create an adjustment layer. The adjustment layer you're going to create right here on your project tab, right there. You can just go to this very icon. Let me make it, there you go. On new item, click, and then you go down and select adjustment layer, which happens to be right here, right off offline file, adjustment layer. So what that's going to create is this little thing, and it's gonna set adjustment layer, and you can just rename it. I would rename it blur because that's what it's eventually going to become. Then you're going to place your adjustment layer on top of your transition. Make sure that is the exact same length of your transition. Now this adjustment layer, you can go ahead and rename it, and let's rename it. Let's call it blur. Why blur? Well, because we're going to go into our effects tab right here, and we're going to type blur. Now you're going to see that under video effects on blur and sharpen, we're gonna have many blurs. One of them being channel blur, compound blur, directional, Gaussian, sharpen, and unsharp mask. What you want to do is select the Gaussian blur and drag it into your adjustment layer. Now I already have it, so I'm not going to drag it twice because it's going to affect it. And now let's you double click on your adjustment layer, because what the adjustment layer is just pretty much, imagine that you have a veil on top of your video, and whatever you do to the veil, you're gonna look through the veil and the video is going to be there. So anything that you do on the adjustment layer, it can be color correction, it can be like this, a blur or something like that, is not going to affect the original footage. That's when you want to use the adjustment layer. Also because there's times that you need to add effects on top of other effects, and you cannot add so many effects onto a single piece of video. Anyways, let's move on. You want to double click on your adjustment layer, and now you go to the effects controls. Now, here is where it gets tricky. Right here, as you can see, we have the Gaussian, however you call it, blur. And now you see these things, these are keyframes. Now, I'm going to delete them so we can do it from scratch. As you can see, now the image went blurry, and that's what it's going to do. From the get-go, it's going to be blurry. And now, you see that also the edges are gone pretty much. What you want to do for that, repeat edge pixels. So once you click repeat edge pixels, what it's going to do is that it's going to eliminate the blurriness on the edges, so you have a sharp image, and the center, well, pretty much like 90% of the image is actually blurred. Now what you want to do is you want to create a keyframe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type 0, and I'm going to make sure that this blur is at the very beginning. Then I type 0, and now you see the image is now crispy clear. Now there's a keyframe, and I want to go to the very middle, right there. That is the very middle, and you can see it here on the timeline, the middle of the transition, and I'm going to type 100. That's where it's going to be the blurriest. And then I'm going to go to the very end, and I'm going to type 0 again, because what you want is this wave. You want this transitional. You see how it transitions from being a little blurry, more, and then completely blurred out, and then comes back into a sharp image. Then what you're going to do, you're going to click on the blur. If you're working on a Mac, option, and then click and drag up. What it's going to do is going to duplicate your layer. It's pretty much going to duplicate whatever you click. With the option, hold down and then click and drag above or below or something. It's just going to duplicate. Now, as you can see, we have the same keyframes. If I double click on them and I go into the effects control, the same keyframes and everything, but I'm going to rename this one into blur light. Why light? Because this is going to be the effect in which the transition becomes with that like flashiness to it. What I want to do is go into the opacity, into blend mode. Now, I'm going to go into the middle of the image. So I'm going to go from normal to linear dodge. Boom. And now you can see the image is now overexposed and is burnt. But now, if I don't do keyframes, you're going to see that it goes immediately into that, and it just looks choppy. It doesn't look smooth. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that I'm in the same middle of the transition right here with my keyframe, and I'm going to click on the opacity. Boom. The little time clock, because now it has added a keyframe of 100, same as this one, that is 100. Now let's go to the very beginning. Let's click 0. Boom. Let's go to the very end, click 0 again, and now we have 6 keyframes. And what it's now going to do is going to make the transition smoother. And then I just added this sound effect to emphasize the transition. And now for anyone that wants this sound effect, I'm going to leave in the description a package for you guys to download, and there's just like a couple transitional noises for whenever you want to use this little technique. And remember, you can extend it as much as you want. You can make it very long, you can make it very short. It depends on your taste, but at least now you have the basic principle on how to make it. All right, guys, I hope this tutorial was useful for you, and I'm very happy that you liked it. Tell me if you liked seeing that Ray's mother is actually the sea cow. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.